Hey, listen, we have this Christmas tradition in our family that every second year we spend the Christmas together with my wife's relatives. Typically, my wife's sister reserves us a farmhouse or a mansion where everybody would fit in, and then everybody flies from all over the world to this same location for a few days to spend the Christmas together. You know, we eat well, we drink well, we play board games, we go to sauna, we got a hole into the ice and go to the icy lake to swim. We get the Christmas tree. So this year too, we did that. You know, there was well over 20 people in the same location for 4 days. A variety of ages ranging from a few months old babies all the way to grandparents closing their 90s. It's a lot of fun, but it's also pretty hectic. A lot of noise, running around, all kind of things going on at the same time. So I, as an introverted person, I need to get out and have a little bit of my self-time. So this time too, I had my Leica with me, and I think it was already the second day I felt like now I need to get out for a few hours. There was a lake close by, and I walked around the lake with my Leica. I had some Fomapan 200 in this camera that I pushed to 400 with Rodinal. There was not really snow on the ground, but the lake had a thin ice surface. And above all, it was just me, myself, and I took a few pictures. Hey, I acquired my Leica about 6 months ago, and I already made one initial video about it back then. I put the link to the page below if you are interested in watching that. Now, I wanted to buy a Leica to see what's the fuss about, but even more than that, to see if a good Leica would affect my work. If I would create different kind of photographs with a Leica. I know a lot of photographers want to downplay the importance of their gear to their work. And that may be justified if you only shoot digital or 35mm, because then the physics are already fixed and there's not so much difference between one brand or one camera to another. But I shoot a variety of different cameras. I shoot 110 tiny pocket film format, all the way to large format cameras. I shoot pinhole cameras, I shoot TLRs, Hasselblads, Kievs, and I can guarantee that these extremes motivate me to create different kind of work, and they leave their mark to my final images. So now I was interested in seeing how would a Leica affect my work. And I have a few thoughts now. So first of all, composition. I come from a Rolleiflex line of thought. This is my favorite camera, and my favorite aspect ratio is 6x6 square. It's the most neutral to me. It doesn't impose any kind of direction, but I can freely compose my picture the way I want in a fairly neutral space, that being a square. So then suddenly with my Leica I noticed that there is some extra space in the middle of my square. I still don't really know how to compose my pictures horizontally like this. This feels so cheesy to me. So I take most of my pictures vertically like this, and then I have extra space in between. And that's interesting, how to fill that up, what to do there, what to put in there. So it affects my composition in an interesting way. So that's the first one. Then holding my camera. Now, a chimney viewfinder that you have in your Rolleiflex or Hasselblad or whatnot forces you to keep your camera a little bit lower. And you can also put it on the ground and still compose it successfully. So now this couple of centimeters, 40, 50 centimeters lower, makes miracles to your composition, and it creates automatically, that's my opinion, more interesting point of views. And now with my Leica, I need to fight the temptation to just stand straight up and shoot from the eye level, because those pictures are mostly uninteresting. So somehow this now puts in an extra effort, and maybe good or maybe bad. Then I don't think there is a better way to focus your camera than a well-calibrated good rangefinder that I have in my Leica. So focusing is extremely accurate and fast, and that then has motivated me to play even more with the shallow depth of field. So I shoot mostly with wide open and really play with the shallow depth of field, to the extent that it may become a gimmick later. But right now I'm really interested in doing that because this camera motivates me to play with the shallow depth of field. Then a smaller negative size. I know it can hold less nuances and details than the larger, medium format or large format. So that is in the back of my mind all the time, and I know that I can't go and base my composition on the details as much as I can do with my Rolleiflex. With Leica I need to be more punchy, I need to be more straight to the point. So I've noticed that I push my film, I go to more contrasty images, I want to get more graphical with my images, where blacks means more, white means more, or what's in the middle is not that important. Because I feel like I need to be more precise, I have less details to play with. And at the same time also having less real estate in my film plane, this being significantly smaller image size, film size, than a medium format or large format. I need to be more precise when I compose. I typically leave a lot of space to crop my pictures in my final darkroom sessions when I'm shooting with my Rolleiflex or with my large format cameras. I don't feel I can do it so much with my Leica because there's less film, and if I crop it aggressively, the image quality starts to be affected. So it forces me to be a bit more accurate in using all the real estate. And then maybe the most important thing though is that when I compose with my Rolleiflex or Hasselblad, I actively compose my image. I may walk around in the landscape, just looking through my viewfinder, admiring the view and actively moving forward, backwards, sideways, higher, lower, to compose my image. It's just simply a pleasure to look things through this viewfinder. Those of you who shoot with the Rolleiflex or Hasselblad, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's no better viewing experience that you have with the chimney viewfinder. Actively working with your composition. Not so much with my Leica, especially with eyeglasses. This is a highly compromised way of composing. And so it means that instead of actively composing, instead of walking around and really working with my composition, my Leica seems to be more look and decide immediately if that's worth photographing and then press the shutter. It either works or it doesn't. I mean, you can't walk around with the Leica in front of your eyes and just composing actively. I think that's a huge difference to me. Also the fact that this viewfinder tilts your picture horizontally, makes it a mirror image, and then you need to not look at the view like this, but you look downwards. That sort of takes the image out from the real world and puts it inside of your camera. Once again, hard to explain, but you know exactly what I'm talking about if you use one of these cameras. Not so much with Leica. I mean, I can look at the view and it's the same view here, so I shoot it or not. Long, complicated explanation, but what it means to me is that this is an actively composing camera. This is where the composition happens before I take the camera into my hand. And then when I'm ready to take a picture, then I just take it. And it seems to simplify my pictures. Less composition, more action. And I think that may be good. At least it's interesting and different. And what more can you ask from your new camera than an interesting new ways of taking photographs? Hey, thanks for watching. Next time something else.